Trying to. Huh. All right. We are back. We are back with another AVIOT Sunday Brew. I know it has been so long for anybody who has been watching AVIOT Sunday Brew. Now, AVIOT Sunday Brew is a part of the AVIOT podcast where we actually talk to people live on the Chemistry Productions YouTube channel. Chemistry Productions is, AVIOT, the AVIOT podcast is the official podcast of Chemistry Productions. And so we just talk to people live on here. We haven't had an episode of the AVI podcast in some time, just because me personally, I've been doing a lot of busy work in the background, making content, putting it on social media channels. We've grown on Facebook quite a bit. We've grown on TikTok a little bit, but I'm really working on growing on YouTube. My goal this year was to hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. The year's not over yet, and you never know what can happen, but hey, we're at 4,000 and some change. And my thing is, maybe if I continue to be more productive on this channel, then maybe the results will come. So time will tell. But there's a lot that's been happening. And outside of just making content on and sharing it on social media in the form of shorts, I've also worked on long form videos as well. I have a long form video that's going to be coming out this coming week that's going to be talking about Beyonce and her decision to attend Kris Jenner's birthday party. And so I'll save my thoughts on that right here because I want you all to listen to the long form video. So there is that piece. However, there's also been a lot of other things that have been happening in the news. So you've had these big elections in which you had the governor of Virginia is now a Democrat. The governor of, I believe, New Jersey is a Democrat. And then you have the mayor of New York, Mamdani, who is a Democratic socialist. Those elections were really big, and that took up a lot of the news cycle. Hey, how you doing, Nihar? Is that how you pronounce it, Nihar? How you doing? So those elections took up the news cycle, and you had people that were wondering if this is what's going to be how the midterms next year take place, in which there are many seats in the House and the Senate that are going to be up for grabs. Nihar, I'm from the US, actually. So I don't know where you're commenting from, but I'm from the US. So my thing is, I'm not going to get my hopes up about what's going to be happening in the midterms next year in terms of the House seats and the Senate seats, because we saw in these recent elections that occurred. You're from India, Nihar? Okay. All right. Nice. Nice. What's the time zone over in India? How is now over here it is 11:24 a.m. So what's the time over there in India? But going back to what I was talking about, you saw in the exit polls with these recent elections that occurred, you saw some interesting results. Now, you had the No Kings protest that happened earlier. I believe it was November. I think earlier in no. Was it in October? Let me look it up. But you had the No Kings protest that happened not too long ago. Oh, it's 9:54 p.m. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Carmen? How you doing? 9:54 p.m. in India. Yeah, so you are definitely on a different time zone than what we are over here. But I'm looking up the No Kings protest, when that actually occurred. If anyone knows when the No Kings protest occurred, please let me know. Oh, it was October 18th. October 18th. Okay. All right. Thank you, Carmen. Appreciate that. So October 18th, you had the No Kings protest that occurred. You had many interesting faces that were out there protesting, mostly white faces. And what really interested me with these recent elections that occurred with the governor of New York, I mean, the mayor of New York, the governor of Virginia, governor of New Jersey, is you had a lot of white individuals who actually still voted Republican. And so that told me all that I needed to know. A lot of people are out here protesting and they're saying that they don't want this current administration in office, the current president and these Republicans that are in office. But the exit polls are saying otherwise when you voted in this election. And my fear is that during the midterms, you're going to have a similar situation occur in which people, white individuals specifically, are saying one thing: we don't want any kings and we don't like this authoritarian rule by this current presidential administration. But then they're going to go and vote for this current president, those who support this current presidential administration. And so that really concerns me. So we'll see where it goes. Speaking of that election, Zoran Mamdani has been in the news a lot. I know that a lot of people don't like socialists, they don't like socialism. And the thing with Zoran is he is a man of the people, it seems. It seems that he's not taking any money from any problematic groups and he's focused on helping the people of New York. There's been a there's been a lot of talk about the people from the so-called Holy Land. I'm not going to say because I don't want this video to be flagged, but they have a blue star on their flag. And so there's a lot of talk about people visiting during the New York mayor race. There was a lot of talk about people visiting that so-called Holy Land, and I know a lot of people get APAC money, and that money influences their decision making. Zoran, it seems, isn't about that. He said that if Netanyahu steps foot on in New York, that he will be arrested. Because let's face it, what's happening between the so-called Holy Land and the Gaza Strip Palestinians is horrible. There is a genocide happening, and that is not cool. No matter which way you feel about it, innocent lives should not be taken and over what I feel is greed. Okay. So there's a lot of pushback with Zoran because of that. Now, the recent Veterans Day happened, and Zoran decided to just meet with the veterans in person. He met with some veterans in New York as opposed to taking part in the New York Veterans Day parade. And he got criticized for that. People thought that he was protesting the parade, but he was doing the work, showing up for people, meeting with veterans, which is what lawmakers, politicians should be doing. But I feel that anything that Zoran does is going to be looked at under a microscope because he is not openly supporting the so-called Holy Land. Because he is not, he is a man of the people and he believes in increasing taxes on the rich, the super wealthy, in order to help the poorer people or people who are not as wealthy or people who are disadvantaged in New York. I think that's totally fine. I don't see any problems with that, but a lot of people do see problems with that. And then he's Muslim. So you have the blatant Islamophobia that's taking place as well. A lot of people don't like Muslims because of what happened on September 11th, 2021. I know in a video I said September 11th, 20. See, I even said it wrong there. September 11th, 2001. Those twos and the ones keep messing me up. But what happened on September 11th, 2001? You have a lot of Islamophobia, a lot of anti-Muslim propaganda that has happened because of that. And Zoran Mamdani is a Muslim. And so, from my anecdotal experiences, Muslim people tend to be very kind, tend to be very peaceful. Having read the Quran myself, I know that it doesn't teach hate. And I encourage other people to read it for themselves instead of going off of propaganda. Now, on the flip side, you have Christians too, that you have very kind Christians, Christians who actually care about others. But then you have Christians as well who are not good people. And we've seen that throughout history. We've seen that in the inception of America. America itself, this country that we live in today, sorry, I hear something in my headphones playing. This country that we live in today was founded off of genocide, the enslavement of black people, and all in the name of Christianity. The reason why a lot of black people in both the United States and the world are Christian today is because it was forced on them due to slavery and colonization. That is a fact. So I'm just saying, you point one finger, three fingers are pointing right back at you. So, Muslims, there are radical people who adhere to Islam, and there are peaceful people that adhere to Islam. The same goes with Christianity. There are radical people that adhere to Christianity. There are peaceful Christians as well. So, there is that. Speaking of Christians, I tell you, I have to really get all of my facts together so I can start talking about this Epstein situation. But the way that a lot of MAGA individuals, Make America Great Again individuals, those who align themselves with the current president and his administration, the way they are bending over backwards, jumping through hoops to excuse his alleged dealings with underage girls, well, girls, I should say, and women who are very young is inappropriate. It's horrible. We have countless accounts. We countless accounts. We have several accounts that state that the president of this United States has forced himself inappropriately on girls and young women throughout the years. We have these Epstein emails that have come out due to a subpoena that has shown that Jeffrey Epstein, the person who we know trafficked girls and young women and harmed girls and young women, has been in contact with the current US president over the years before Jeffrey Epstein lost his life while he was incarcerated. So we know that there's a connection there. And the emails that came out, they aren't they don't look good for the current US president. And there's this whole thing about the Epstein files come out. Now there was a vote that happened because Adelita Grijalva finally got sworn in to the House, and there was a vote that happened in order to, I guess, start the movement for the Epstein files coming out. Now, do I think the Epstein files will come out? Maybe, but I don't know if it's going to be while this current president is in office because it makes him look bad, and his base will have to justify him being in office if it is revealed that he did even worse things to girls and young women, women in general, to other people. Epstein himself said in those emails that came out that the current US president is a horrible person. So we know that for a fact that he actually said that, and that's what he thought about the current US president. When you have a person who traffics girls and young women calling you a horrible person and calling you vile, that is very telling. In fact, the current US president was mentioned reportedly more than anybody else in these emails that came out that involved Jeffrey Epstein. So that is something. And yet I see Christians who who align themselves with MAGA, Christians in general, they're trying to excuse this behavior. We had Megyn Kelly on her show trying to, I guess, lessen the blow of Jeffrey Epstein and the current US president messing with girls and young women by saying, well, they weren't prepubescent. They were 15. They were 16. Like that's any better. 18 is the age of consent in the United States. I know Texas, I think, has it at 17. But come on, man. Y'all in y'all 30s, y'all 40s, y'all 50s messing around with these girls and young women. Some people in their 60s, 70s, forcing themselves on girls and young women, trafficking girls and young women. That's inappropriate. And I know what they say on YouTube, they call it PDF file, right? They don't want to say the actual name because for some reason we can't call things as it is. But they're like, well, Megyn Kelly was saying, well, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't technically a PDF file. He wasn't messing with prepubescent kids, but you were messing with kids. He was messing with kids. There is no way that you can get around this. And I see Fox News, they're trying to talk about anything but this these emails that came out involving Jeffrey Epstein. Fox News is talking about Taco Bell. They even put out a survey in which they actually included 15 to 44-year-olds talking about, do you want to move out of the country? 15-year-olds are not adults. 16-year-olds are not adults. 17-year-olds are not adults. Shoot, 18-year-olds are too young. Okay? 18-year-olds, when you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, why are you messing with 18-year-olds? 19-year-olds. Come on. Come on. They say the human brain doesn't fully develop until the mid to late 20s. So why are you messing with someone whose brain isn't fully developed yet? Hmm? Anyways, so Megyn Kelly, all those who are choosing to sidestep this Epstein situation, just understand that you're promoting the abuse of girls and underage women. You're promoting the abuse of children. You don't care about that because your greed is what fuels you. Your hubris, your pride is what fuels you. You just want to not tell people that you're wrong. You don't want to admit defeat. You don't want to say, okay, I voted for the wrong guy. I supported the wrong guy. I supported the wrong administration. I backed the wrong people. You don't want to say that. So instead, you dig your heels down into the sand and you try to make excuses for it. Excuses. What I don't like also are the amount of people who think they know what they're talking about, but don't know anything when it comes to this Epstein situation. Specifically, I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith, who I believe needs to stick to his day job and just talk about sports. Laura Ingraham might have been onto something when she said "shut up and dribble," because in let me preface this by saying that no, she wasn't right about when she said it to LeBron and all those people. But I'm saying it applies in this scenario with Stephen A. Smith. He needs to shut up and report. Seriously, he needs to shut up and report on sports. That's it. Just stick to sports because every time he has a political take, his political takes are misinformation. And at this point, I'm starting to think it's disinformation. He went at the Democratic Party for saying that when Biden was in office, why weren't the Epstein files released? So you had a reporter from the Miami Herald. Her name is Julie K. Brown. I'm going to read it from the screen right here because I have it pulled up. She was saying that Biden and the Democrats did not release the criminal case files because Ghislaine Maxwell, who was in cahoots with Jeffrey Epstein, her criminal case was still open during the Biden administration. She wasn't convicted until late 2021. Okay. And then she appealed her conviction. Generally, it's not a good idea to open your evidence file when a criminal case is ongoing. We also don't know whether the FBI was still investigating other possible suspects who helped Epstein. So the fact of the matter is, during the Biden administration, they were working on this. They were. Jeffrey Epstein doesn't lose his life until 2019. That's during the first Trump administration. Okay. Now you have this going on right now, and if the Senate votes to release the Epstein files, it goes up to the president, in which he can veto that. He doesn't have to release the Epstein files. He doesn't have to do this. So this song and dance is going to be going on for some time. We call this Sunday Brew. Let me drink some coffee. Ultimately, though, just know that if you support this president, you support this current presidential administration, you support the harming, the trafficking of underage women and girls. That's what you support. That's what, and especially if you want to do it because of your Christian values, that's what your Christian values support. It is totally unacceptable. In all of this hullabaloo, and all of these distractions, and all of this noise, we are forgetting about the victims. We're forgetting about the girls and the young women who are harmed by men, powerful, wealthy men. You could put women in there with Ghislaine Maxwell, reportedly this current US president. I mean, we know that he has harmed women. We know that for a fact. We know that this current president has harmed women. I believe he was on trial with something, and he lost the trial with a woman who said that he forced himself onto her and that he inappropriately touched her or inappropriately dealt with her. We know that happened. Okay, so that's what you supported. A lot of people are saying, well, this shows how bigoted US society is because you didn't want to get the overqualified black woman that was Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's true. They did not want to vote for the overqualified person who served in all branches of government: legislative, executive, judiciary. Kamala Harris. She's a lawyer. She served during her time in California. She was the vice president of the United States, the first female vice president of the United States in United States history. And yet, she didn't win the presidency. Was I surprised when she didn't win? No. That's how this country feels about black women. And plus, if Hillary didn't win, you know Kamala wasn't going to win. It's really unfortunate. A lot of people were calling out Kamala for being so big and bad and this and that, but they forget about the past term of Donald Trump. They forget about what happened in his first term. They forget how he's responsible for COVID running rampant like wildfire in the United States. So many people lost their lives due to COVID. I know people who have lost their lives due to COVID. And if the president had a better grip on it, because he knew when COVID was coming out, but he didn't want to tell people about it because he didn't want it to affect his next run at president. He should have told people about it. But his greed, his hunger for power kept him from doing so. He reportedly was integral in tearing down the safeguards in place for detecting when pandemics are occurring in the world. Little bro gaming. Oh, my day's been good. My day's been pretty good. Woke up this morning. I'm being productive, doing the first AVIOT Sunday Brew. We haven't done this in such a long time. Happy to be back doing this with the AVIOT podcast. How's your day going, little bro gaming? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I feel like this week is gonna be a really good week. About to exercise today, gonna eat well. I'm going to hang out with my wife, and it's gonna be wonderful. But anyways, going back to what I'm saying, The current just chilling, little bro. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. It's good to chill. Good to reset your mind. Good to be at peace. But going back to what I was saying, this current president's first term should have been enough to not elect him to a second term. That should have been enough. But it wasn't enough because a lot of people don't want a woman in charge. A lot of people don't want a black woman in charge. Speaking of black women, I want to talk about what happened with this recent interview that Michelle Obama, the former first lady, did with People Magazine. While with People Magazine, she was talking about how she struggled to wear her hair out in a natural like hairstyle that black women have, like braids or wear maybe cornrows or maybe wearing an afro. She said she didn't want any more distractions because let's face it, the Obama administration, bigoted detractors, they were looking for anything to get the former president on. They even got on him for wearing a tan suit. That was a problem. So it was really unfortunate that the Obamas really couldn't feel like they could be themselves while Barack Obama was in office. So Michelle Obama talked about it, and she said that after getting out of office, she sees the importance of wearing her hair in braids and wearing natural hairstyles that Black women have. And I think that's great for her. Now, you had a commenter on Threads, and I saw, and there's a big discourse happening where this commenter on Threads was saying that, oh, we're past that to where Black women are adhering to white beauty standards when it comes to wearing their hair. This led to a large discourse in which a lot of Black women have been commenting on the matter, and they've been saying, like, listen, the foundation that was laid for you by Black women of the past made it possible for you to embrace your natural hairstyles today and feel more free and open with wearing those styles. It is a thing. Black hair discrimination occurs. I should know, I have locks. And so this woman doubled down on it. I believe she's a Black woman. Who knows? There's a lot of bots out there these days. And even the famed singer India Irie had to chime into the conversation and say her piece, saying how the reason why you're able to wear your hair in certain styles today is because of what Black women fought hard for in the past. So it really is important for us to understand that Black hair is not inappropriate. Black hair is just fine as it is. Now, I know I need a retwist. There, I know I need a retwist. I haven't been able to get my hair retwisted in some time now, but Black hair is beautiful, and if you keep it up well, it's amazing. I need to do a better job of keeping up my hair. I will be probably getting a retwist within this week, or maybe next week. But Black hair is beautiful. Whether you wear it in locks, braids, and afro, you want to straighten it out. I just want Black people to have the luxury, the ability to change up their hairstyle if they want to, not feel like it's forced. Speaking of which, I always love the way that Black women in basketball specifically have their hairstyles. You got people with the bust downs, you got people with the pom poms like Joyce Edwards on South Carolina Gamecocks team. You have people that have their hair in braids. You have several different styles, and I love the way that Black women are able to express themselves through their hair in women's basketball, whether it be the WNBA, the Unrivaled Basketball League, or it be in the NCAA. I love that. And that expression of freedom, that being who you are, being yourself, that is something that we should allow Black women to have on a daily basis. It is truly beautiful to see. So, with that being said, I'm not going to drag out this episode any longer than it needs to be. I thank you all who are able to be here on this episode. I'm going to try and do these lives every Sunday going forward. I know I've been very silent these past Sundays. For those of you who haven't seen me in the beginning of this episode right here, I was pretty much focusing on content creation on other platforms, other social media platforms, and I took a backseat from the AVIOT podcast and AVIOT Sunday Brew. But hopefully, I can be back to it. It's just consuming all this information now. I pride myself in being a media educator, being an educator in general, but there's a lot of information happening. I can only focus on so much. Eventually, when I'm able to build a team, then I'll be able to, this platform rather, will be able to cover a myriad of topics: health and wellness, science, pop culture, politics, Black culture. We'll be able to do that. But just know that the team is small. Essentially, it's just me. And we're doing what it do. but I'm proud of where we are thus far. I'm proud of the progress we made this year, and we're going to keep on doing that. So, what's brewing for me this week? What's brewing for me this week is I'll be putting out a another media lessons video that's speaking on Beyonce attending Kris Jenner's birthday party and what to make of that. Please watch the last media lessons episode that I put out, which was talking about abortion laws in Texas. I feel that that was an important conversation that needed to be had and that people should be listening to. So there is that. I have other topics that are on the way. I had this paper that I'm writing that I've been writing for some time. I just stopped because I was focusing more on the social media, but I'm going to get back to writing my papers again because I have to hit different mediums if I'm going to teach correctly. There's talking to the public, there's making content, there's writing, there's so many different mediums, podcasting. So that's what's brewing for me for this week. I hope that everyone has a peaceful week. Please be safe out there. I appreciate all of y'all listening, and hopefully we will see y'all next Sunday. Alrighty, peace.